So it's based on the premise that an attempt was made, which failed, which he was unaware of, and the Secret Service were unaware of in November of 1963.
Oh, really?
And
God.
he was obviously in tremendously poor physical condition, suffering from severe osteoporosis, Addison's disease. He'd been on Ritalin for most of his adult life. He was on all manner of potions and preparations. They were using a cherry picker to get him into AF1 because he couldn't do the stairs. He was in that bad physical condition. So his relationship with Jackie apparently was tremendously strained as a result of his myriad infidelities.
Right.
There was the situation with Marilyn Monroe, who apparently also had a relationship with Robert. Judith Exner, who was also involved with both Sinatra and Sam Giancana, and all manner of rumours. Also, there was an ongoing investigation behind the scenes by the Republican Party into the election itself in 1960, because out of 69 million votes, Kennedy won by 122,000. And there were rumours that Daley, the mayor of Chicago, had withheld Illinois votes until he knew which way the vote was swinging. Also, the belief that Kennedy made a deal under the table with some of the significant organised crime family heads in America to get them to influence the unions, the Teamsters. You're talking about the cab drivers, the people who do the waste disposal, you're talking about the plumbers and electricians, all those union members who were influenced by their bosses, influenced by the unions, the Teamsters, to vote a certain way that would put Kennedy in the White House, on the understanding that when Kennedy was in the White House, Robert, the youngest son, would become Attorney General, and he would go all easy on organised crime. He did the reverse, much the reverse. And therefore, the mafia, Italian-American organised crime syndicates, felt that they'd been betrayed by the Kennedys, which was another motivation for having him terminated, apart from the fact that he was trying to pull out of Vietnam and all sorts of things. Anyway, the book is based on the premise that the assassination attempt by Oswald, who obviously was one of several who were present when he was killed in Dallas in 1963, whether or not he was directly responsible for any of the bullets that proved fatal, who knows? But that's an argument that will rage on forever. But he was definitely present in Dallas at the time. Maybe he was just the patsy, the fall guy, who knows? Anyway,
you don't have a.
I'm not getting into that.
Yeah,
I'm not getting into that. I am basing it on the premise that Oswald appeared late and the motorcade had gone, and so he then, with an intent to finish the job that he started, works out a way to continue and successfully assassinate Kennedy. But the book's more about a frustrated photojournalist who did a handful of months in Korea and came back a somewhat broken man, traumatized by his experiences in the Korean War, whose girlfriend commits suicide, ex-girlfriend commits suicide, and there's something, and she's a newspaper reporter, Washington newspaper reporter, and there's something in her personal effects that indicates that she has been investigating Kennedy on corruption in the vote process, the election process. So he pursues these threads, and it takes him to Dallas, and it takes him to Washington, and it takes him different places around the country. And the more he digs, the more it becomes obvious that it's not only the election rigging process that's got the potential to undermine Kennedy. There's numerous other things going on as well. And it's in the run-up to the new election in November of 1964, where Kennedy would have been running to assume a second 4-year term. It's uncertain who he's going to run against. Will Nixon run again? Hubert Humphrey? I mean, who knows? And it deals with really the West Wing, Pierre Salinger. It deals with McNamara, Secretary of Defense, LBJ obviously as Vice President. and the internal workings of the Kennedy administration as they navigate this sort of circuitous, challenging path towards the Democratic National Committee in August of 1964. While this journalist pursues Jack Ruby and prostitutes in Nashville, prostitutes in Dallas, and Lord knows what else, that appear to know something about what happened in November of '63 in the previous year, when Oswald was going to kill Kennedy.
Yeah.
That's essentially the premise of the book. So it's sort of that slice of history, that 6 months of history, retold from the viewpoint of what would have happened had Kennedy not died in November of '63.